before we get started, I have been to a whole load of live music events since we last recorded. A mixture of like live streams and some actual in-person events. So I've got a whole bunch of them here. I want to just quickly go through. So the first one, well, I don't know if these are even in order. They may be semi in order, but so I went to see Peat Diesel live in Elgin Town Hall of all places, and it was Elgin Town Hall is actually quite a good venue.
It's decent, man. I've seen a few tribute acts there. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It was actually a decent venue. Band were really good. I don't know how familiar you are with Peat Diesel, but you know, they're sort of a trad folk like punk band, I suppose is the way to describe them. And they did like all the kind of fan favourites like Western Isles, Island, and their cover of Dirty Old Town, which is really good. And they just sound the same live as they do on the record, just like really good sort of rocky folk band. They sound like they're going to fall apart at any moment, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
it was a good gig, but right at the end, it's a strange one because it was all kind of when the sort of COVID rules were becoming a bit looser, and it was kind of like, well, you can. If you're walking through, you should probably wear a mask, and then you get to wherever you're standing or sitting, you take your mask off. But because it's, you know, the northeast of Scotland, like no one's giving a fuck, and majority of people weren't wearing masks at all. So like right at the end, I think after the band had finished out, I was like, right, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So I put my mask on, I walked through the toilet, and when I came out, there's like a group of folk, and they're all folk like, I recognised their faces, like they're maybe like Keith folk or like, you know, just folk I'd seen kicking about in the pubs over the years and that. And one of them, he just looked at me, he's like, what are you wearing a mask for, you wanker? And I was like, I genuinely didn't know what to say to him. I just kind of looked at him and sort of went, go fuck yourself, and turned around and walked off.
I'm quite surprised a fucking fight never broke out.
Well, I thought when I told him to go fuck himself, he would have nutted me or something.
I hooked you in the back of the head.
It was such a weird... Oh no, what he actually said was, what are you wearing a mask for, you wanker? Don't you know there's a war on? And I was like... What? It's like... What's... Like what? I don't know what the war in Ukraine had to do with it. But,
sure, but somehow in my head, surely by that logic, it would make more sense to wear a mask somehow. I don't know why.
I don't know. I think the point he was trying to make was like, why bother wearing a mask?
We're all dead anyway.
There's a war on anyway, kind of thing. But maybe I was a wanker. I don't know. But that was the end of that gig. It's just like, welcome back to the northeast. So that was good. So anyway, the band were great. The crowd, not so much. So one of the other things I saw, this was like a streaming event, so I didn't have to talk to anyone or be abused by anyone, which is good. It was a band called Dune, spelled with a V. So they were in Edinburgh, based like prog metal band, and this was called The Cycles of Asphodel, and this band's shtick is kind of like all their stuff is based on like Frank Herbert's Dune, hence the name of the band. And what this was like, they took a few songs from their album that came out last year, Etamin Ayenka, I think that's how you pronounce it, and like reimagined them. So it was like they sort of stripped them back a wee bit, added a bit more clean vocals, slightly less screaming. It was still really heavy, loads of riffs, and you know, it was in the Biscuit Factory, which is about 10 minutes away from where I live, which is quite cool to see. There's loads of kind of like strobing lights, and like they were performing like in the shadows and all sorts of stuff. So it was a really, really cool visually.
Quite smart.
And they also had a guest violinist and vocalist. Her name's Lissa Robertson, who I kind of recognised her in the video, and then it was at the end when I saw her in the credits, I realised she had performed with Gefahrgeist at Hidden Door last year when I saw them, so that was quite a nice little connection there. So yeah, that was really good. You can't watch it anymore, it was like a one-off thing, but the songs, you can get the live versions of those songs on Bandcamp if you want to listen to them. So worth checking it out if you like the band, and I'd say if you're a fan of like La Bestia de Gevaudan, then that would be up your street as well. I got 4 more. Try and get them through as quickly as I can. I told you I'd been to shitloads. So
Yeah, I'd been shitloads.
the next one, I just mentioned Gefahrgeist, so I watched a live stream of them on the Limbic TV, YouTube, and Facebook. Well, I watched it on the YouTube channel, but you could watch it on both YouTube and Facebook. They played versions of Nuclear, Graceless, and Parasites, and yeah, it was really good. I think Conscious Root was supposed to join them for the 7-minute Epic Orbit, but I think he had COVID, so he couldn't make it. But yeah, it was a good set. And shout out to Limbic TV, who I didn't really know anything about, but they've been doing like loads of live streams all throughout lockdown and basically just like helping promote underground Scottish music. I think they just set up like a random studio somewhere and set it up to be able to do live streams and just started inviting bands to play. So if you go on their YouTube, there are loads of recorded streams on there of just like loads of underground Scottish bands, which is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
So shout out to them and to Gefahrgeist. I also went to see Unto Others at the Mash House. So Unto Others are like an American metal band. They're signed to Roadrunner Records, which is quite a big label for metal, but surprisingly they were in like the smallest room in the Mash House, so it was like a good opportunity to see like an up and coming metal band in like a really small intimate venue. And their thing is kind of like a mixture of, it's like heavy metal mixed with horror punk and goth metal and a bit of classic rock, so they've got a really cool sound. Like the vocalist sounds a bit like Pete Steele or Glenn Danzig, maybe sort of echoey kind of like deep vocals. They do the sort of Iron Maiden dueling guitar kind of thing. You get sort of Slash style solos and like thrashy Metallica kind of style riffs. So a very cool band. Like they've sort of become one of my favourite bands over the last few months, and they did covers of Misfits songs, a Thin Lizzy cover, a Ramones cover as well. So yeah, really good. Some of the highlights were songs Jackie, Downtown, Give Me to the Night, and the song When Will God's Work Be Done, which is absolutely amazing. So I would, if you're going to check out one song, that's the one I would recommend. And they were supported by the band Zetra, who were like, they had like black metal face paints and stuff on, but they were playing really sort of moody, like synthy kind of songs. They were quite cool, but definitely check them out. I did write a kind of full review of that gig on the website, so you can go over there and read that if you are interested, or just go and listen to those bands. It's probably the best thing to do. Two more, we'll get through this. I then went to see Conscious Root and Scott Bathgate's Pyramid EP launch at Sneaky Pete's in Edinburgh. So I actually entered a competition to win tickets to this. You just had to like share their post and like send them like screenshots that you'd done it. So I won a couple of tickets to that. I mean, it was only like £9 a ticket, so I think I would have gone even if I hadn't won the tickets, to be honest. So I went along to that, and it ended up being just like a really cool kind of celebration of all things hip hop. There was a DJ and rapper, a Scottish DJ and rapper, Cryptic, soul singer Nicola Taylor, who did a bit of rapping as well, and there was a veteran MC called Michael Parkinson. He's an English rapper who I don't really know, but I think, you know, he's been doing this thing for at least a decade at this point. And they had sort of hip hop dancers on the stage and stuff as well. It was just a really cool show. And then Conscious Root and Scott Bathgate kind of took over the stage and performed tracks from this Pyramid EP, which is just kind of Conscious Root's poetic rapping mixed with Scott Bathgate's kind of like airy sort of astral synths and pounding beats. So there's a little bit of guitar in there as well. So really cool event, I suppose. Actually, I wrote a review of that for Snack Magazine, so you can go to their website and have a read about that if you're interested. Last one is another live stream. This time this was The Hell, who are a sort of parody hardcore punk band. I put their part 2 of their hardcore opera Joris in our like favourite releases of last year, and it's basically, I mean, it's just like really heavy proper hardcore songs, but like sort of really dumb, like funny lyrics. And the Joris thing is like, it's almost like a musical but with hardcore songs, and it's basically about this guy who's got like a shitty, meaningless retail job and he hates it, and he decides he wants to go on the road and form a band. Jack from Waco had a small speaking part in the first part of that EP, so it's 2 EPs basically. So he does a speaking role in that first EP, and then Jamie Lenman's on a song and plays a character in like the second EP, so it's pretty cool. So the live show had a few songs from both of those EPs and from the Douche EP that came out last year or the year before, I think, which has got, well, the song Douche from that EP is fucking mental. So I'd recommend you check that one out. But yeah, if you like sort of big obnoxious riffs, with a bit of humour in the lyrics, and the Hell are definitely worth checking out.
It's not finished. It's finished.